Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the WWF Wrestling Challenge Review Series for the 3rd of January 1993. There's about 40 some of these available, which is kind of cool because 1993 is a year that I have not seen since it originally aired. And so we're going to run through these as we can. And so Shawn Michaels is in the opening match here in 1993. Also, Raven Rougeau conducts an interview with Kamala Harvey Wilfman and Kemchi, in which Wilfman said Kamala would do as he was told, including receiving physical abuse if necessary. And Slick comes out, interrupts, and basically says Kamala is not an animal but is a man. And then Wilfman and Kemchi leave the interview area. Kamala seems to follow them reluctantly after Kemchi slapping him. And also, there's a special report segment which there's shown Bobby Heenan is saying that he would unveil Narcissus at the Royal Rumble, specifically mentioning Mr. Perfect as the man that the main reason for it. Also features a preview of the following Saturday's debut of Mania, footage of Razor Ramon attacking Owen Hart backstage, including Royal Rumble report, in which 6 more participants, Earthquake, Jerry Lawler, Carlos Colon, Crush, Papa Shango, and Rick Martel, are included in the Royal. This is the first Royal Rumble wherein the winner of the contest would receive basically a championship match. Shawn Michaels, the Intercontinental Champion, defeats Jim Brunzell 526 with a super kick. Yes, the Jim Brunzell of the High Flyers fame, Killer Bees fame, and all of that. Decent match for the time. Again, 1993, not exactly a high quality match. Fanatic deal here, but Michaels certainly gets some arm drags, deep arm drags, and pops up, basically tries to go around with Brunzell at the time, just about finishing up his time. Also drop kicks by Michaels under the chin, and Michaels is also headed to the Royal Rumble, where he faces off against former tag team partner Marty Jannetty. We've covered that in the Superstars of Wrestling series, but suffice to say that is a big deal. There is a near fall by Brunzell into a small package, hard shots by Michaels right into the face there. Michaels, of course, moving on to use Luna Vachon as a manager in the WrestleMania time. But a good back and forth match for the standards of the time, and Michaels, of course, getting a relatively quick victory here. Well, 5.5 minutes, not as quick, but I think they're trying to show a little bit more of Shawn Michaels' work rate, and super kick to the midsection is the victory there. To that point, though, Michaels has been changing finishers. Basically, Bobby Heenan in the update says that Narcissus is the most amazing man that he's ever seen. Cannot put into words how wonderful he is. George Petrovsky is the enhancement talent in the next match here. Tatanka, who is still undefeated after being with the company for a good length of time. Tatanka still looks to be in good shape here in 1993. Doesn't really start to flab out until after the heel turn in 94. Big, hip tosses, drop kicks, and the like. Tatanka still seen as a big guy there. And Doink the Clown comes out, starts to distract Tatanka. Tatanka hits a couple of drop kicks, and then the Samoan drop deal there. They also are plugging the headlock on Hunger thing. Ric Flair is coming up and facing off against none other than Bret Hart at the time and other basic individuals. At the time was supposed to be the Warrior, but doesn't come together. Also, Ric Flair hyping the return to Madison Square Garden with the headlock on Hunger for Somalian relief efforts. And then we move to Bob Backlund in an enhancement match. Backlund, of course, still a babyface here. Backlund's opponent in this particular run, of course, Backlund coming back in about October, November of 1992. Doesn't get major push here. Dale Wolf, 248 rolling cradle during the bout. Backlund cuts an insert promo about appearing at the Royal Rumble. Backlund's first Royal Rumble since the inception of the event. Backlund completely bland, as one would expect him to be. That is how he is known, what he is known for being at this time period. Amazing how the transformation of the heel turn gives him some value. Dale Wolf, otherwise known as Dusty Wolf, hammerlocks, basic stuff, drop toe holds, and ultimately a bridging back run for Backlund, and Backlund gets the victory there as a former world champion. Promotional considerations paid for by Ico Pro and Slim Jims. Then we go to a Bam Bam Bigelow enhancement talent match. Bigelow does a little bit of selling for his adversary, which is odd at the time for a guy in Bigelow's position. Sells a little bit for Buck Zumhofe, 224 diving headbutt. During about Bigelow cuts an insert promo with talking about the facing of the big boss man at the Royal Rumble. Zumhofe, though, manages, as a former AWA guy, to get a couple of bits of offense on Bigelow, but Bigelow manages a body slam and the diving headbutt, both from the top rope and from a standing position. Bigelow, a pretty big deal here. Gene Okerlund reminds us that Bret the Hitman Hart is going to face Razor Ramon. Razor Ramon, relative newcomer, coming in about September, October of 1992, getting his first major championship match. Macho Man Randy Savage talks about the hype of getting into the Royal Rumble and being a former champion and wanting that number one contenders match for the WrestleMania 9 deal. This is the first time, and again, Ric Flair and Mr. Perfect are also going to be members of the Royal Rumble. Perfectly, basically saying that he, Flair, had better run the other way because last year Perfect guided him to victory, and this year it is him, Mr. Perfect, that's going to win that number one contender spot. Jerry Lawler, also a wrestler at the time, in the Royal Rumble, I believe for the first time as well, having entered in the previous year. The Steiner brothers, new to the area, getting their first major pay-per-view match at WrestleMania, at the Royal Rumble, actually. Rick and Scott Steiner against W.T. Jones and Red Tyler. Steiner gets a few amateur takedowns, gets a couple of suplexes and kind of a gut-wrench thing there. Steiner certainly wants to put his man up as quick as he can and flunks him down pretty hard in a basic maneuver there. And ultimately, Steiner manages to, get the double underhook bomb on Red Tyler. Red Tyler, the other enhancement talent, going around about the bend, and a bulldog by Rick Steiner gets things going there. Also, upcoming matches for Yokozuna. Yokozuna eventually challenging Jim Duggan, among others, in the weeks and months to come. Yokozuna is also in the position of being the guy who is one of the biggest challengers for the WWF Championship within a couple of months, actually winning the belt, obviously, at WrestleMania. But that will close us for today. This is the continuation of our Wrestling Challenge series, and we continue, and we'll be back with more right after this.